country today. It's also the topic of a conversation with our next guest, Matan Gavish. He's a security expert and the founder and chief instructor of Krav Maga Academy. He has trained both Israeli and American law enforcement officers in dealing with active shooter incidents. Matan, thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Well, we heard Ambassador Dermer talk about the fact that anti-Semitic violence is not new, but the influence of social media and that influence that it's having is definitely having an impact on the amount and the increase of what we're seeing. What is the most important piece of advice you're currently giving your synagogue and church clients on how to keep themselves safe?
Well, when we deal with really any client, I think the first and most important thing is to try to create some sort of a deterrent. Bad guys like to attack easy targets, or at least seemingly easy targets. So the harder a target is seen from the outside to hit, it will probably be less likely to be hit.
What do you say to people who just don't feel comfortable with the idea of putting strong security measures inside houses of worship? They want to make sure they feel welcoming to everyone, but we're all, of course, concerned about security as well. What do you say to those folks, Matan?
Well, I think that you should really draw a line between what's comfortable and what's needed. I come from Israel too. It's a country where literally almost everywhere that you would go, you would find a security guard, whether it's the mall, the supermarket, a school, a kindergarten, synagogue, whatever, right? Wherever you go, there's always going to be an armed security guard because there's a need for that, and we all know what that need is. That need hasn't skipped the United States. I would also add to it, though, that outside of just hiring out, if you're a part of a community, like a synagogue or any congregation, it's important to also provide training in response to the people of the congregation. So if you feel uncomfortable hiring a security guard to stand outside, take the measures to educate your own community on how to defend itself against an assault like that.
And I would imagine that's something you see with some of your clients. They have you or your team come in to their places of worship and actually teach the congregants there to protect themselves. Is that a common occurrence?
Yeah, we provide active shooter defense strategies and lessons to different organizations, whether it be houses of worship or sometimes just professional settings. I think nobody is immune from having a bad guy with hatred in his heart walking in, fully armed, and taking his vengeance on the innocent people that are there. The difference between a horrible incident and almost is usually how the victims or almost victims react when something like this happens.
Say that one more time, because I want to make sure we emphasize that to our audience at home, because that is a very important point.
I am a big believer that you should not delegate your own safety. I think that every person and every community should take the responsibility to protect itself upon itself. So you can fortify the place from the outside, but if every single person in a congregation, every single person in the community knows what to do when a bad guy walks in with a gun, when an active shooter enters, and now you take, right, the power that is amplified by the numbers of everybody that's in there, and you put all that energy and all that mass against this one bad guy, you have a much higher chance of surviving with fewer casualties and fewer injuries than anything that you can hire out or delegate. And I think and it's just important to remember that.
It's come to this. Matan Gavish, thank you so much for your insight. I know a lot of people will probably be reaching out to you. You're the founder of the Krav Maga Academy. Good to have you with us, sir. Thanks for your insights.
Thank you very much.